The end of Anno Domini. It began with a food crisis caused by overpopulation, accelerating pollution, and ecological collapse. Eventually, Earth would no longer be a planet fit to sustain human life. On this particular issue, humanity found common ground, ultimately proposing a single solution: force all of humanity into space. In other words, a space emigration program to construct colonies in the void, thereby forging a new home for humanity amongst the stars. To carry out such a historically unprecedented planetary-wide initiative, the entire world was unified under the newly established Earth Federation, which subsequently enacted the Space Emigration Act, mandating the compulsory relocation of the species. In light of the fact that only certain nations and entities were responsible for polluting the planet, some reasonably argued that it was unjust to make everyone pay the price. Nonetheless, in order to preserve the Earth, the very cradle of life, people had no choice but to accept fate and act as one. Although each step along the way was fraught with danger, the Earth Federation government started relocating the planet's population in accordance with the Space Emigration Act, once the first space colony had been completed. At last, humanity began to settle the stars. Accordingly, a new calendar system was enacted with the inaugural year of space emigration as its epoch. It was a farewell to the old era known as Anno Domini, or the Year of the Lord, which had spanned over 2 millennia. Once torn apart by its differences, humanity had ushered in a new era that embraced all forms of diversity, the universal century. However, by UC 0051, half a century had passed since the start of space emigration. When more than 80% of the global population had migrated into space, the space emigration program was suddenly suspended. When groups who sought to stay on the planet emerged, the Earth Federation government recognized their right to. Officially, this exception was meant to allow a small number to inhabit the planet in order to preserve the natural environment and human culture. However, these groups consisted of the so-called privileged class, key Federation government figures, cabinet ministers, business magnates, and other elites. And so, humanity was once again torn apart by its differences, this time, those between Earth's inhabitants and spacenoids. No citation of human history is needed. Differences give rise to division and discrimination, which in turn spark the emergence of those who seek justice. Following the pivotal year that was UC 0079, numerous individuals rose to challenge these inequalities, igniting conflicts that would span the solar system. Drawing upon these historical facts, we will explore the backgrounds of those who challenged the Earth Federation and shed light on their underlying motivations. The year is now UC 0105. Over 100 years have passed since the dawn of the universal century, and the time has come to reflect on that history. Adelaide. a city located in the southern part of the Australian continent. It is the current capital of the Earth Federation government, and preparations are underway for an upcoming international conference. The Australian continent on which Adelaide is bears the scars of a devastating war. Scars that could be attributed to the collective karma of humanity. The war born from the Great Divide between space and Earth had virtually obliterated this great continent. The Zeon War of Independence. UC 0079, the Principality of Zeon formally declared war on the Earth Federation. Not but 3 seconds later, it launched a surprise attack on the Earth Federation Forces fleet, multiple space colonies, and the lunar city of Granada, using nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. In addition to Granada, it had seized sides 1, 2, and 4 by the next day. Then, it turned those very colonies into massive weapons. These massive weapons, 6.5 kilometers wide and 30 kilometers long, rained down upon Earth's major cities, wreaking apocalyptic levels of havoc on the planet. The impacts unleashed colossal tsunamis that swallowed entire coastal regions, and the airborne debris polluted the skies, triggering catastrophic climate change. Most of Earth's population was decimated in one way or another, and the planet's fragile environment was pushed over the precipice. According to records from the time, the first surprise attack launched by the Principality of Zeon claimed the lives of about several billion spacenoids. These colony drops are also believed to have claimed the lives of approximately 1 billion of Earth's inhabitants. In total, the death toll amounted to half of humanity's population. It took but 1 week. In that short span of time following the outbreak of the war, half of the human race perished. Having unquestionably gained the upper hand, the Zeon forces moved to seize the remaining colonies to ensure the Earth Federation's unconditional surrender. In truth, early in the conflict, some within the Earth Federation government underestimated the Principality of Zeon, believing they could negotiate to extract some concessions. For those living on Earth, the realities unfolding in space may have sounded like little more than fairy tales from a faraway land. However, the wind turned when colony drops started. Space problems were now Earth problems. Only when their own noses were bloodied did the cabinet members finally open their eyes and take action, issuing orders to the Earth Federation forces. Zeon had earned their wrath. Thus, the opposing fleets of the Principality of Zeon and Earth Federation clashed at Side 5, the colony cluster otherwise known as Loom. It was the first full-scale space fleet battle in human history. The Battle of Loom had begun Special Stages, the Changemakers. Stage 1, Earth's Inhabitants and Spacenoids. Inside 5, the ferocity of the battle left Loom in ruins. The Earth Federation forces lost the majority of their main fleet, as well as their commander, when the flagship Ananke was sunk and Johann Ibrahim Revel, vice admiral at the time, was taken prisoner. The outcome was a decisive victory for the Principality of Zeon. However, the Zeon forces also suffered devastating losses, suppressing their potential for large-scale attacks. Ultimately, the takeaway was horrifyingly simple. In little over a month's time, 1 out of every 2 human beings had died. Looking back on these events, some argue that since the Principality of Zeon was dwarfed by the Earth Federation, a swift conclusion was its only hope. That is, the Principality of Zeon needed to strike a blow so devastating that the Earth Federation would be forced to its knees. From a strategic perspective, that may have been true. Nevertheless, when viewed through the ideological lens of Giran Zabi, Supreme Commander and de facto leader of the Principality of Zeon, a different perspective on the Zeon War of Independence comes into view. To be continued in Part 2, Giran Zabi, the Gambit of Tyrants.